Here we fucking go! You're listening to Bread and Circuses.
It's like the mob media, for one, is the entire world populated. Like, everybody's on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Fucking the UK is on Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
unfortunately.
With Caleb Salvatore.
Well, they can't. They can't go to the comedy shows because there's a 2-drink minimum, and you can't mix the Percocet you've been stealing from work with liquor.
And Nick Kohler.
There literally be people in the fucking 80s that didn't know that nutting in a girl would make her pregnant.
No one's asked that question. What did those families do to provoke Alex Jones like that?
You know what'll solve all of these racial police protests? A Pepsi.
What the fuck is up, friends? Welcome to this week's episode of Bread Circuses. It's after midnight. It's Bread Circuses After Dark. I think we got to tell ghost stories. I think that's what that means.
Oh shit, man! We can tell some ghost stories.
It's not Halloween yet. We're getting there. We're getting there,
man. It's almost the end of the summer, which is like kind of a bummer, man. I've been having fun this summer, so
I don't know, man. I feel like school kind of teaches us to like summer. As an adult, man, it's just kind of hot and nasty out.
I'm still in school now, though, so like I'm like an adult kid. So.
Okay, sure, I get that. So status update. My studio in my apartment's like 90% done. I actually used it today when I went on the Chris Baker show, so it's all good to go. I just got to get everything kind of finished up. I'm gonna make a couple more changes. That's why you see me still sitting at a desk and lights behind me and shit. So we're getting there. It's almost done. It's fucking ready to go. So
I'm gonna be moving apartments too at the end of this month here, just into like.
That's right.
My apartment complex like last year had an electrical fire.
Oh god!
So they had insurance paid to renovate an entire new.
Oh yeah, they make it nicer when they do that.
Oh yeah, dude, everything's brand new in it. It's gonna be like the exact same apartment as this, except there's an extra bedroom and everything in there is brand spanking new. So like,
so do you think? Yes. Do you think Trump's going to jail, man?
Dude, I don't think so. I've been following this since it happened. I think it's just a big, like, show, I think, for the media. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I was like thinking about, like, dude, what could he had possibly stolen from whatever the fuck? Like, they won't say, of course, because they're classified documents.
It's because they don't know.
What if he took, like, some Epstein shit? Because I heard that the judge that signed off on the raid on his house was linked to Epstein. Like he was like a lawyer.
Represented his clients. Yeah,
he was an Epstein lawyer.
I didn't even think of that.
What if he did, dude? And the lawyer's like, oh fuck, like find some weed at his house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, go find some. Plant
Look
some
at Melania's
crack
closet.
On him.
Yeah,
plant some Hunter Biden's crack on him. Well, they keep saying now they're saying that they think he stole nuclear codes. And people on Twitter are talking about it like
it's with nuclear codes,
like
dude.
They said he's going to sell nuclear information to the Saudis. And I'm just like, bro, like, here's my thing.
What is he going to do with nuclear codes?
If the FBI had any reason to believe that he stole anything to do with nukes, they wouldn't have negotiated with him for 18 months. They would have went in right away and got it. Like
they would have had
like
the CIA come in and fucking waterboard his ass.
Oh yeah, no, there wouldn't have been a show. It wouldn't have been a long, drawn out thing. They would have gone in and got him like right away.
And what do they mean? They think he took them? Like they should fucking know what they're looking for in there. That's the whole point of a warrant. Is you have to be like, this is what we're looking for in this house. Like you can't be like, oh, we're just trying to find some shit in the warrant.
Did you read the warrant?
I didn't read the warrant, but I like heard people talking about the warrant, what it actually said. And it basically was like they're just going in to look. It
said any and every document ever touched by President Trump in his 4 years as president is what they were looking for. So it's a fishing expedition.
That's literally what they're doing. They're looking for something in his house, like.
You know what they're looking for is they're looking for something to tie him to January 6th because they are, for some reason, obsessed with that shit, dude.
Because
It's
they
fucking-
know that it's like their only straw they can grasp on, because they know the Democrats know that they're gonna lose like everywhere when it comes
I don't think
to
they're
the
gonna
next
lose. I
election.
think they're gonna keep the Senate. I think they'll lose the House.
I don't
but-
think they're gonna keep the Senate, dude. You kidding me? The Democrats are like
See-
seriously, like, dude. The Democrats are like so low in the polls right now. Like they're not.
but
they're not keeping
but
shit, man. The
on-
only places they're gonna keep are like the super strong left areas, like the fucking California and Illinois.
And I agree with that in the House. I think the Republicans will take the House in a pretty big majority. But the Senate, I don't know. I mean, we're a couple months out, so a lot can change. But I think on paper, I would agree with you. The Republicans should take the House, especially when you've got, or excuse me, the Senate, especially when, oh, you just dropped your video.
Oh shit,
good, man?
my bad.
No, I think the Republicans should
There we
take
go.
the Senate back on paper, especially when the states with that you can flip are, Georgia,
I'll
Arizona,
I think
places
all,
like that.
yeah, I think all the swing states all switch red because like I mean, dude, what's the biggest contributor to like people actually like switching sides on something is like when you start messing with their money, man.
Yeah.
And
Well, the problem is the Republicans decided to nominate complete morons like Herschel Walker and Dr. Oz for these swing state Senate seats, and J.D. Vance, the author, and they just don't know how to run a campaign.
Do
They
you
don't
think
come
that
off as
Dr. Oz
intelligent people.
would be a bad politician?
I
mean,
wouldn't want Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz, fucking a year ago, Dr. Oz was pro-COVID lockdowns, pro-gun control, transitioning children. I mean, and then switched against all of it when Trump said, "Hey, I'll endorse you for Senate." The guy's a grifter. He can't be trusted. I'd rather have the Democrat than Dr. Oz.
That makes sense. I don't really know much about him, and I don't follow I follow my local politics and like Texas and everything.
Yeah.
Like one of the big things is like Beto is gonna try to take governor.
Oh,
again.
he's gonna lose.
He's not.
The guy,
going to, man.
him and Stacey Abrams and Cara Eastman, the three of them, they just run for office for a living. That's
So
all they do.
They can get CNN pundit jobs. Like,
Yeah, that's all.
the only reason people like him here in El Paso is because he's from here. Like,
yeah,
you
he's
know
not
what I
even
mean?
Hispanic. He stole the name base, fucking full-blooded Irish.
Yeah, it's just
Robert
like he's
Francis
from here.
O'Rourke. What's that?
It's just that he's from here. Like, people like the local guy here in Texas. And I'm like, do you even know anything about his politics, man?
He's
Like, politics are garbage. Like,
He's a grifter. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you saw the
he has the cut. We looked at his website. He has the cut and paste, like, woke left wing ideology shit for everything, dude. Like,
They have to. That's
Yeah.
They have a purity test if you want to run for office as a Democrat. The Republicans don't. Not to the same extent.
not to
at
the
least.
same extent. Yeah.
But no, he's a grifter. I mean, fuck that guy, man. That guy's a piece of shit. Beto O'Rourke. That's
Yeah. I don't. I remember I voted in a Democrat primary here. Actually, I chose to vote for the Democrat.
Oh, you're
primary.
independent, aren't you? So you
Yeah,
can vote.
'cause I can
Yeah.
do either or, and like, my idea is like I would rather see more like center Democrats in. You know what I mean? Because like we've already established that I've already got some pretty like some left wing views over here, and like to me like the more center left wing guys are more aligned with me than the right wing.
How many center left wing guys are left though?
There's not very many. That's the thing is like that's why I'm like I vote in the Democrat primaries to vote for those guys to be on the fucking ticket. You know what I mean? Like it's better than just being like fuck it and abandoning the Democrat Party. Like, you know what I mean? Like when we were younger, the Democratic Party was like the anti-Iraq war, like you know what I mean? Like the fuck the big corporations like doing shit against the US and everything. And it's like
yep, and now they shill for big pharma and war in Russia.
none of them, none of the sides are like want to do anything against the big corporate fucking lobbyists and stuff. It's like
the two things they can agree on are corporate lobbyists and war.
And war, the Democrats are just as fucking bad when it
They're
comes
probably
to
honestly they're worse.
They
When
are
they're in
worse,
power,
yeah.
They're worse.
They're the
worse.
ones right now that are trying to fucking get us into war with Russia, man.
They would love to go to war with Russia.
Yeah,
that's the thing. They would love to go to war
and
with
if
Russia.
you
They're
don't, it's
itching for
because
it.
you hate America. Like
Well, that's what Dan Crenshaw would say. Our favorite Republican. Speaking of God,
Yeah.
I mean, if you had to list the 5 just in current politics, the 5 worst politicians, who would you be, or who would you do?
The 5 worst politicians in politics
currently
now.
in office.
Currently in office. Number 1 would probably be Joe Biden, dude. He is like
besides Joe Biden.
Yeah, objectively, you could argue he's one of the
no
worst
Biden or
presidents.
Harris. No Biden or Harris.
Okay.
Here, I'll start a Google Doc.
One, I really hate the California Senate House or Senate Speaker. What's her name? The one that's trying to start war. Which I hate Nancy Pelosi so much, dude. She is such like the figurehead for like.
Yeah.
What is that? Did I open that up?
No.
Okay, cool.
5 worst politicians. We're starting a list.
Is this in a particular order? I don't know if I could name them.
Doesn't have to be in order. It'll just be 5.
Yeah, one of them would be Nancy Pelosi, man. I like objectively challenge anybody to tell me any fucking of her like things that she's ever done in office or anything that she like it takes a really hard stance on that's like ever been useful or anything. Dude, dude, like literally just look at last week, man. Her like trying to go to Taiwan and like starting fucking saber rattling with China, dude. Like, do you really want us to go to war with China? And she's like, it's because I'm a female that they're getting all mad at it.
No.
They don't do it when the boys go there. Like, no, bro, it's because you're the Senate Speaker.
It's because you're Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House.
Yeah, the Speaker of the House.
Well, dude, if she just would have went there, nothing would have happened. But the fact that she announced it in advance and went there, that's why it started.
And like,
she knew what she was doing. She's not dumb.
Here's another thing that bothers me too. The fucking congressional like body of office handles domestic issues. Why the fuck is the Speaker of the House going to a foreign country?
Right.
Why? Right. You do not need to go there. The president, the executive branch handles a lot of the foreign shit. Like,
to rile
you do not need to go to
man.
fucking Taiwan. Yeah, and she's like, he says, dude, you're using taxpayer dollars to do that shit. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just a gross waste of. Like, you couldn't have done that by a Zoom call. You were all over the fucking people going home for the pandemic and everything. You couldn't have just handled that with a Zoom call instead of wasting like $1 million of taxpayer dollars to take your private jet to Taiwan.
Right.
You know what I mean? Eat at all the top of the line restaurants while you're there, stay at the best hotels in Taiwan, would pay for all the Secret Service to protect you and stuff. Like,
yeah, she's trash. I'd put her on there. I think I'd put Crenshaw on there too.
Yeah, I would put Dan Crenshaw on there too, man. Just because he's so vocal. Yeah, he's like so vocal is trying to be like, oh, I'm this really smart, like right-wing politician.
He's
an
idiot, though.
His views are like a lot of his views are like neocon garbage.
They're generic neo, and then like the argument he had with the 12-year-old girl.
Yeah,
he tried to dunk on the little girl.
Yeah, I just think of any like remnants of the neocons from like like 20 years ago. Those guys just all need to be voted out, dude. Like
they're still there. They're still kicking.
Yeah.
Man. Who else?
Who's the Mitch McConnell?
Gene Stothert.
Yeah, Gene Stothert.
I
you know, that's a bit of a local one, but for real, like, dude, the fact that she was like telling the police to like arrest all the people protesting down there in Omaha, and like that was scummy, man. Like, what else has she done? What has she done good for like Omaha?
Not much. She doesn't even. She's like outraged now. She wants to be able to work remotely. She wants to because her new husband's from St. Louis, so she's spending a lot of time down there. And they had her on the news, and she wasn't
even in Omaha. Like,
dude, they had her on the news, and she was screaming on the phone. Screaming, it's ridiculous. I don't need to be there to do that. Dude, she was big mad. But no, we won't. She's too niche. We won't put her on there. Yeah, Mitch McConnell. The only time the dude has any type of backbone against the Democrats is when they want to go to war. That's when he's like, well, we can all get whipped into,
he's just another one of those. He's like the actual neocons that still just dodge the coat hanger long enough to stay in office. You know what I mean?
AOC. Yep, that's what I was right. You beat me.
Dude,
she's an absolute moron. Absolute moron. This is why we shouldn't elect bartenders.
Yeah. I'm just like, bro, like that whole thing with like how many publicity stunts has she like faked for like her woke points?
The fake arrest. The fake arrest
the fake
where she
arrest.
wasn't
She's got like
handcuffed.
her hands behind her, but like they're like, all right, ma'am, we'll let you take the picture. Oh god, dude.
God, yeah, she's
like the
bad.
figurehead of like the woke, really loud left-wing
Yes.
politicians that are like destroying the Democrat Party. Like,
yes. She's no, they're gonna look back on her in 20 years and think, what the hell were we thinking?
yeah, they're gonna be like, God damn. And you know what? My whole thing is like she could keep on just being a fucking dumbass politician, but she's so loud and so many people give her so much credence. It's like, how can you not look at that?
It's because she's attractive. It's because she's hot.
Yeah, well, it's just because she's young. It's because all the other people in Congress have been in there for 40 years.
They're dinosaurs.
Old. Yeah.
They're dinosaurs.
I.e. Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell.
Chuck Grassley, 88 years old, Senate, running for another 6-year term.
Jesus, man.
The
thing that sucks is a lot of these people come from like places like with Mitch McConnell, like Kentucky.
Yeah,
like the people don't care about
Nancy Pelosi, San Francisco. She ain't going nowhere.
She's not going anywhere because nobody's going to be able to vote her out.
No.
Like,
man, who's number 5?
Who is number 5, man?
That's a tough one. There's a lot. There's good choices there. Number 5. I'm trying to think. Do we want to go Senate here? Do we want to go?
These are all like the really well-known ones and stuff, but
we could do Dick Cheney's daughter, Liz Cheney.
Yeah, she's a
congresswoman in Wyoming. We'll put her on the list because she's about to lose her primary, so we won't be able to rank her much longer.
Yeah.
I mean, so when I say AOC, I consider the whole squad here. So like AOC and Nina Turner and Ilhan.
I don't.
Omar
the thing is I don't know a lot about the other ones other than
they're
AOC.
Just as bad. So Ilhan Omar, here's a fun thing about her. Her brother immigrated here from Somalia, and she married him.
Oh, cool.
For a green card wedding. So, you know Marjorie Taylor Greene, or the crazy Republican chick that everyone talks about, the congresswoman?
Yeah.
So she had this Twitter war with Ilhan Omar. Here, let me pull it up real quick. Dude, it was great. She said, because Ilhan Omar tweeted something about Marjorie Taylor Greene wasn't wearing a mask or something like that. So here I'm finding her response real quick. It's a did they take it down? This is why I could never be a politician, because I would say things like this. She said, it's like taken down. Well, basically what she said was, at Ilhan Omar, I keep trying to type your name, but my phone keeps auto-correcting it to brother fucker. Dude, it was wild, man. But
yeah, if they wouldn't have already been deposed of, like Andrew Cuomo would have been up there.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I hate that fucking cocksucker. God, Cuomo's a piece of shit.
Chuck
man.
Schumer would have been up there.
He could be. He's still in office. He could be there.
I really don't like Ted Cruz either, man. Like, Elizabeth Warren's another.
Oh, she's awful.
I really don't like Ted Cruz though, man. I think he's a spineless cockroach. Like,
I agree.
Really can't stand that guy. He takes all the worst right wing like stances on everything. Like he was one of the ones that was like all like, oh, Trump lied, they got the election stolen from him and stuff. And then like that whole thing happened with like the power outages, and he was like vacationing in Mexico, like I'm just vacationing that.
Trump called Ted Cruz's wife an ugly whore and said his dad killed Kennedy, and he campaigned for him.
Yeah. He's a spineless cockroach, man. I'm telling you, like I don't respect politicians that just do whatever the party tells them to do, man.
No, Alex Stein, Primetime 99, the big booty Latino guy. He called out Ted Cruz. You want to see it?
Let's see it.
Ambushed him at CPAC or whatever, or one of those conservative conventions.
Guy,
yeah. He goes Latino. After. He's the same one that did the eye patch McCain thing. He goes after everyone. Cancun Cruz, he calls him.
If you care about America, why do you do that to your constituents when they're freezing cold?
You know, I'm sure you think you're really smart.
Oh, I am smart. Yeah, because you're a globalist. You do more for Ukraine than you do for America. You know that. Remember how Trump made fun of your wife, and then you go become best friends with Trump? I know, but why do you do that? You go become best friends with Trump after he makes fun of you. Why do you do that?
I understand you don't want to defend
you're a
Texas. And
coward.
you don't want
No,
to
see, I
defend
do love America. See, you don't. You care more about the border between Ukraine and Russia than you care about the border between Texas and Mexico. Why is that? Why do you care?
Yes.
You're a globalist. You're a globalist.
That's
bud.
great.
No,
He
it's-
does.
Hey,
His
Teddy,
big
you're a
history.
globalist. You're a globalist, Ted. You know that, bud. And that's why you're a coward and a liar. And you know that, and I know that. And that's why you're afraid to stand up for it. When people were freezing and dying, you were in Cancun, Mexico. You remember that? You remember when you're at the all-inclusive buffet while people were freezing? No, but do you remember that, Ted, when everybody was freezing? Remember that when people were dying? What were you
Dude, he goes after everyone. The man is ruthless.
That's the best, man.
Fucking
Right to his face, and he's
savage.
just like blah 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 blah. Like
Yeah, well, I mean, Ted, he knows it's true. That's the
he knows
problem.
it's true, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, no, he's a great troll.
You know what? That's what I can say. Like, remember the governor of Nebraska, like
Ricketts?
Yeah, with Ricketts, like the whole like flooding thing was happening in the Platte. That
Yeah.
dude at least was there, like
Yeah.
flying around on National Guard helicopters, being like, "All right, let's fucking fix this."
Let's
you
see
know
what we
I
can
mean?
do. Right. Yeah, no,
like,
to his
this
credit.
dude's like, man, we're in Cancun. Don't
Well,
don't
going
bother
to Mexico.
coming
They
against
left the dog too. They didn't even bring the dog. He's like, well, it was with a family friend. Do you remember when?
spineless coward?
Do you
dude.
remember the Mitt Romney scandal where they like? It turned out that like he was like driving with the family dog on the interstate, just bungee corded to the top of the car in a kennel.
No way.
Yes. Yes. And then like he was like trying to justify it. He's like, we drilled plenty of holes in the kennel to give the dog
dog's
plenty
there
of
like,
air.
"Ah."
Let me see if I can find it. Mitt Romney dog on roof.
That's awesome, dude. That guy, what's the name of that guy again? The guy that went out to Ted Cruz, like that whole because I saw the video where he's like big booty Latina, right?
Alex
here.
Stein.
The AOC.
Primetime 99 Alex Stein. Yeah.
That guy is a Chad, dude.
Dude, he's great. He's a fucking legend. Speaking of celebrities named Alex, Alex Jones was in Omaha today.
Yeah, I remember
visiting.
you were texting me about the why. So his wife is from Omaha.
His wife is from Omaha.
I didn't know that.
I actually know some people that are related to her. I didn't realize that until afterwards. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of weird.
I don't know him very well, so I've never met her. But so here's the rumor, right? So his wife is from here, and he is at a point with the Sandy Hook thing. They can't go to the grocery store without being harassed in Austin, Texas, because he's just dirt there. So the rumor is he's looking to relocate.
You think he's gonna go to Omaha, Nebraska?
Bro, Alex Jones, if you relocate to Omaha, Nebraska, there is a spot on my comedy show for you every month. You can come, you can do as much time as you want. You can yell at people about conspiracies. I'll pay you. I'll take care of all your drinks. You can bring whoever you want. They don't gotta pay to get in.
Oh,
It's all you, bro.
Bar tab, man.
It's all you, bro. Oh yeah, I can. Okay, maybe I should rescind the. I'll pay for your first 2 drinks. I don't have thousands of dollars.
a fucking quintuple shot of vodka.
Yeah, he pulls up. He's
Coke.
like, "Let me get a shot of vodka." And he just grabs a glass, not a shotgun, just a glass, the biggest glass they have. That's his shot,
I got a bottle of vodka.
bro. I that's on my bucket list. I just want to go bar hopping with Alex Jones one time. I just want to. I might go out and try to find him tomorrow.
I bet you in person he's not as crazy as he is on his show.
No, I'm
Like,
sure he's a nice guy. You have to be. Unless,
maybe
you know,
I don't know.
He's a
I
nice
don't know.
guy unless your kid just died in a school shooting. He's gonna say you're in a
I
crisis.
heard he's like
actor.
on his show, like calling the judge down his case like a freaking Satanist and stuff.
Dude, did you watch that trial?
I didn't.
Oh my god, I followed it live, and so they played like videos from his show, like ads that were run during his show, where he accused the judge of being involved with child sex trafficking.
Yeah.
It was just out of his just fucking wild shit.
For all we know, he might be, dude. I'm telling you, like Alex Jones, like always. A lot of times when Alex Jones says stuff, a lot of times it's like, I don't want to say every time it's within a grain of truth, but
Yeah.
like a lot of times, man.
The link he was making was she used to work for CPS, and CPS is definitely involved in sex trafficking.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So so there was one, he red pilled the whole jury at one point. It was fucking great. The opposing lawyer asked him, he goes, So, Mr. Jones, is it true you believe people in power are involved in sex trafficking of children? And he goes, you mean like Epstein with the Clintons? And the lawyer goes, if that's a yes, then yes. So he got the lawyer to talk about Alex Jones name dropped the Clintons as sex traffickers in the trial. He's telling that they didn't say that one. That had to be thrown out. They know the truth there. So it was. Did you hear the thing about his lawyer? How they fucked up?
Mm-mm.
So his lawyer. It wasn't his lawyer. It was probably like a paralegal or something. Sent over the entire contents of his phone to the opposing lawyer, right? The entire, including privileged conversations with his lawyer. They had 10 days to have it struck as privileged and didn't even bother to try. Not only did they not bother to have it struck from the record and make it so the opposing lawyer couldn't use it, they fucking didn't tell their client. He got blindsided on the stand with it. And you can tell
that sounds like he was being paid off to be an idiot, because lawyers aren't stupid, man.
No, it wasn't him. It was like it was an intern or a paralegal that sent it over. Yeah. They were trying to reply with some file, because I was thinking about it, because I thought, I'm like, well, maybe they're trying to force a mistrial. Well, forcing a mistrial, number one, is illegal if they can find out you did it on purpose. Number two, you got to think about it from this lawyer's perspective. If you did something like that, that's some career-ending shit. Man. Yeah. I find it hard to believe he would do that on purpose to save Alex Jones, just to get a mistrial. I just don't think he would ruin his career.
Yeah, look at like the guys with OJ, man. Like, those guys were legends for getting that guy off the hook with it. Like, if you were gonna be a lawyer and like get Alex Jones off the fucking hook for that, dude, you'd be like the best defense attorney ever, you know what I mean? Like,
so what did he do that got him in trouble? That's what I just don't understand.
It's like a civil case with the stuff with the
the Sandy Hook. I just think
it's just a defamation suit. It's like, you know what I mean? And honestly, if he's running as like his stuff as like a media thing, you know what I mean? Like, I think
they're not even saying.
I think it's because they sent him a cease and desist letter for that, and he's kept on doing it, and now it's gone to court over it. You know what I mean?
He can't stop doing it.
Yeah. Well, but it's a civil court. It's like, it's not like he's going to jail, but they're going to try to take all of his fucking money.
Well, so I guess Texas limits damages. So like so even though he lost $50 million, the most he can pay is like $750,000.
Yeah, and most of that will go to like court. Really, the whole thing is just a shut up Alex Jones case. That's really what it all is. Like,
well, so they ran over his financials, right, from InfoWars. He makes off advertisements, food, like, because they sell like that prepper food and stuff, supplements, merch, and then like books and movies. He's making $800,000 a day. 800 grand a day selling shit, dude. That's insane.
Yeah, and the reason like it's the whole trial, it's all propped up all over the media and everything, is because, for one, like, you know what I mean, it's like the mainstream thing to hate on Alex Jones and think he's, you know what I mean?
See, the problem is, man, is Alex Jones got 75% of the shit he said right about everything, right? Now, that's pretty good odds when you consider the mainstream media that's, barely right 50% of the time, if that, right? So he got 75% of the shit right. The problem was he got the one thing wrong that you absolutely cannot get wrong, like the worst thing possible to get wrong. And this is what the people in power love, because now when he points out some shit that's actually true and that they're actually doing, they're going to go, well, that's the Sandy Hook guy. What are you going to do? You know?
And you know what's funny is like...
What's that? Your sound? Hold on. God damn it. Sorry, the sound cut out. I don't know if it was... Your mic's off. Nick just lost his mic for a second. I think there's just some shit going on. We're just having some technical difficulty. You're muted, bro. Now I can talk. You there? Can you hear me? Nick lost his mic. I don't know what's going on. It's StreamYard. It's the miracle of StreamYard. I'm not even going to edit this shit out. You can see me, let's see, tomorrow or today, I guess. Now, Saturday, August 13th, I will be headlining at Beach House Bar and Grill, formerly Wired Pub in Omaha. You got it back on yet?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The connector cord to the Yeti.
Like it happened right as I yanked back, so I didn't know if I plugged my headphones out, so we had a little.
No, it was just my crappy mic cord.
Oh no, you're good, bro. You're good. So yeah, we were talking about Alex Jones. So he got the worst thing wrong, right?
Yeah, it's funny to me is that like anybody with any ounce of intelligence though like knew that before the whole thing with Sandy Hook that Alex Jones was just kind of like a meme. You know what I mean? Like I knew him as the guy that was like, "You're a horrible, wicked man, Obama."
You wicked devil.
Yeah. Like,
hey, he was the GOAT for that. Okay, that's like, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like he said though that like we've said it plenty of times on here that there's been a lot of stuff that he's ended up getting right. Well, I think the biggest thing was like the thing with Hollywood being run by fucking pedophiles and rapists and stuff. It's like Harvey Weinstein, dude.
Weinstein, dude. He was telling people. Joe Rogan even said it. Alex Jones was telling people about Epstein and Weinstein long before any of that shit came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was him. He's the one telling people about. He was telling people about that in private. He wasn't even using it as a grift.
I really do think that they started going like the powers that be really started going after Alex Jones after the 2016 election.
Yeah.
Because like it was a lot of his like man on the street interview stuff, like showing all those like dumbass like left wing
especially like Bernie Sanders supporters.
Yeah, like all the left wing communist protesters and stuff, and like asking them like all those questions and stuff like that, and like literally those like meme pictures of like the typical like left wing protester, like the skinny dude with the long greasy hair and the chick with the pink hair. That was all Alex Jones.
It was all Alex Jones.
So they were like, oh crap, this guy's actually a threat now, because like that stuff was very, very influential in a lot of people like not voting for fucking Hillary Clinton. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean he made people. Him and Mark Dice. Do you remember Mark Dice?
He was another one of the man on the street guys, right?
Yeah, he went a little crazy, but no, it was those guys. They would go out and they would fucking like Mark Dice. I remember he would ask people the most ridiculous shit. Like, do you think if we had stricter gun control that John Wilkes Booth would have been able to kill Jesus? And people would answer it seriously. Like they would seriously answer that question. Like it was a legitimate question.
Yeah.
John Wilkes Booth killed Jesus. You didn't stop for 2 seconds. Well, first off, guns weren't alive when Jesus was, or guns weren't a thing when Jesus was around.
Yeah.
John Wilkes Booth killed Lincoln, not like, come on, man. It's just the lack of common sense displayed, and it's unfortunate. And people, I understand that like the nature of what we do, we're going to be more well read in some of this shit than a lot of people, and I get that. I don't expect people to understand the nitty gritty of everything.
But here's the thing, man. Is like we are a fucking like constitutional republic, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have ordinary citizens that vote on very serious laws and policies and all this stuff. It's like the general public should be informed on this stuff. This is one of the reasons, like,
absolutely,
and Plato's workings that he hated democracy so much was because he's like, the common people are fucking idiots.
Was it Churchill said the best argument against democracy was a 5-minute conversation with the average voter?
Yes, it was, and that's one of my favorite quotes ever.
So
because
true.
It's true, man. Like I talked to like college kids at my school about like legitimate things that should be like voting like points. You know what I mean?
They're the
like,
worst because
elections.
They think they're educated.
You know what? Maybe it's just the fact that it's here in El Paso and stuff, but it's just like they don't care, and then they go and vote, and I'm like, bro, like, how are you voting about shit? You're voting for like people in the primaries and you don't even know who they are. Like, at least Google them real quick and like before you vote for them. You know what I mean? Or just don't vote at all. Like,
right? Yeah, that's the thing is that. And that's my thing about college kids is I'll have like smart ass college kids try to come at me on TikTok and stuff. And I'm like, bro, like you don't even realize you think you sound smart. Like they have just enough to know what they know just enough to make it sound like they have a coherent, intelligent argument. But the second you start picking any of it apart, it just immediately falls apart.
I think it's just people in general, man. Like I've talked to plenty of other people that aren't college educated that just are ignorant when it comes to.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to sit here and act like I'm a big brain know-it-all everything about
either.
stuff, but it's like I also vote with extreme discretion now. So
I
know
go
what I mean?
to the poll to vote against all the new taxes and write my friends' names in. So
yeah, I go in there and I fight like the Texas policies where they're like trying to give more money to like army, like military spouses whose ex like spouse,
never.
Yeah, or no, they're trying to give them tax exempt status, or they're like, why? Do they didn't do anything?
Defund military spouses.
Like they already get a ton of money and all this stuff.
That's the episode title is Defund military spouses.
Yeah, right. I remember I was like talking to like my coworkers at the time about that, like voting against that, and they were like, "How could you think that?" And I'm like, "Bro, they didn't fucking do anything. Like,
do a goddamn thing."
Oh, dude.
I vote against.
They're
everything.
Probably happy that their spouse died, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I vote. No shit. I vote against all of them. I don't indiscriminately. I vote against every single bond. I don't give a fuck what it's for. You need money for the schools? You can cut it. You can find it somewhere. Sorry, our population's not growing. Why do you need another school?
Stuff I would be okay about, or like, well, I would.
No, we pay enough. I'm done.
Like,
I'm done paying taxes.
Like, you don't even pay a lot of taxes, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like. That stuff goes to a lot of like the homeowners and stuff that like pay.
Yeah, I'm trying to buy a house though. I don't want property taxes even fucking higher.
That's the kind of good stuff that taxes is used for, I think, with public schools, man.
Yeah, they got enough of it. Why? So they can go fund more drag queen story hours and shit.
Yeah, well, you know what though, the fact
I don't need to give teachers more money to groom my kids.
I'm telling you, man, if you show up to your PTA meetings and be loud enough about that kind of stuff, it won't go through. Or
well, no, because then the FBI labels you a terrorist.
No, the problem is that all these the problem is all these lazy fuck parents that like are against all this stuff don't go to the fucking PTA meetings.
Honestly,
and don't talk about that stuff.
I have zero intention to send my children to public school, so it doesn't even matter to me. I refuse to.
I hear all these people talking about this shit on like social media and they don't even have kids. I'm like, bro, like if you fucking care about it so much, go to your PTA meetings. You have power as a fucking taxpayer and a parent in your kid's school. It's like,
well, the problem is the ones that do though, they get shut down. They're like, there's video.
They can't shut down 60 people that go there and talk about it. You know what I mean?
But the FBI can.
It's because 10 of the crazy, wacky hippie parents were the ones that went in there and said, "My kid is trans. Let him talk about it." You know what
Jesus
I mean?
Christ, that's another the kids being trans.
They're the ones, dude. The crazy fucking left wingers have been the loudest about that shit since like 2013, man. That's why all this shit went into bizarro world. Like,
it really, dude. I can remember 5 years ago, like people that were liberal, not I'm a little left. I'm cool with weed and gay marriage. Like liberal people that were, they were fine with the trans thing, but they're like, no, there's no reason kids should be on hormones. Transitioning your kids is ridiculous. That's something
that was the thing they'd say. Like
that was a normal opinion.
Transition your kids.
Yeah,
nobody's trying to do that to your
now
kids.
They are. Now if you're against that, you're a bigot.
Now we're here where doctors are like forcibly like mutilating like the little girls, removing their breasts and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
hysterectomies on 12-year-olds. They're doing that in Boston now. They advertise it on their their YouTube page.
And like local governments are making laws that it's child abuse if you don't let your kid do that.
In Canada, a guy's wife was affirming their child's transgender status and he wasn't, so he lost his kid in the divorce.
Yeah.
Child abuse. No, dude, you're the child abuser for transitioning your kids. Like,
this stuff is real. Like when people like think it's just like this like conservative boogeyman argument, like this shit's real, man.
It's actually happening. It's really happening. And if you bring it up to people that are doing it, you're called a bigot. Dude, the example I use, right, on the giving your kids hormones and shit. When I was 14 years old, I didn't like it that my parents wouldn't let me drink. You know what I mean? Didn't like it. Now, alcohol, that was something, if I would have drank heavily at 14, that probably would have had a long-term effect on me. There's no guarantee, but it probably would have, right? I'm 27. I still drink, but I completely understand why they wouldn't let me drink at 14. The point I'm trying to make is you don't have to affirm and go along with every self-destructive behavior your child wants, right?
You know
And
what I think?
If you raise them correctly, they won't resent you later on, even if they still feel the same way. So if they want to transition at 14 and you say, no, you can't do that as a child, when they're 27, if they feel like if they're still trans and they're still into that, they should be able to understand why you wouldn't let them do that as a child.
You know what I think really is like, I think the very, very, very large majority of people are really, really against that stuff. Everything
they are. They're scared to speak up.
Yeah, they're 100% scared to. A lot of the people that are kind of like in the middle and don't really like be too vocal about their beliefs, they're all scared to say anything about it because they don't want to go to a PTA meeting and have the teacher, like, you know what I mean, like 3 really loud parents call them trans exclusive, you know, or like call them transphobic and like scream to their face and get the internet to bomb their house.
Yeah, figure out where they work and try to ruin their lives and get them fired and shit. No, that's
I think the best example of this, right? I think this is a very objective example of this was when that trans guy, that guy swam in the NCAA like college women's that like swimming thing. Remember that?
Leah Thomas.
Yeah. Remember when that happened and like. Yep. Everyone was like, what the fuck? And then like, but people that were like all supportive of it were like, look, the athletes don't care. And then like, it took like a couple months for the athlete stuff all finally start coming out.
Well, yeah, because the athletes
really hated that.
If the athletes spoke up, they would have gotten kicked off the team.
They would have lost their scholarships, dude. Like, you think they're terrified. Everybody's terrified to speak up about stuff. It's a big bully, man.
It's such a small vocal minority that's bullied so many people. It's ridiculous. And Matt Walsh said it best. Dude, there has never in the Western world, there has never been a more protected class than transgender people. Never. For as much as they claim to be victims and all that shit, there has never been a more protected class than transgender people. Because if you criticize them at all, you question it at all, you're a fucking bigot, you're a scumbag. So never been any, and I think it was Dave Smith had another good point about it. This was years ago before this insanity really took off. He's like, if you look at like the great struggles throughout history, right? Like black people in slavery, women wanting to be able to vote. He's like, even gay people, they wouldn't let them get married. A reasonable person can look at that and be like, yeah, like I get where they're coming from. But you know, a grown man wanting to go in the women's locker room, it's just kind of creepy. It's a little weird, you know, even when it's just weird. It's God, man, this shit.
It's like seriously one of the biggest. Like I really do think that a lot of lefties are really on this, or like really want this to be, because there's like, it's kind of like there's really not a whole lot of other fights to be fought, which is funny because there really is, but this is like the big mainstream fight. You know what I mean? And like, if you're not virtue signaling that you're for this stuff, like, you know what I mean? You're not fighting for the current.
You're not an ally.
You'll be on the wrong side of history. You know what I mean? Like,
oh no, I'm going to be on the right side of history. Believe
me. But this
is
the thing is like, when you would like look at like some of the arguments that like say like conservatives would have in like the 50s against getting rid of like segregation. Those arguments would objectively be fucking retarded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was a little kid listening to these people like make these arguments, going like, these people are stupid as fuck, dude. Like, why would anybody have honestly like bought into this?
Yeah.
And like now I hear what people say about that when it comes to the gender inclusivity and getting rid of gender as a social construct and getting rid of like anything gender. And I'm like, this stuff is crazy.
It's asinine,
talk, man. It's like
asinine.
Crazy talk. And it really does. It like affects stuff like the colleges, man. Like when I'm going to college and I see stuff like there's gender neutral bathrooms and stuff. I'm like, haha, this is funny because I was just piss all over the toilet. Anytime I see a gender neutral bathroom, I always like piss all over the toilet seat. Like,
yeah. So have you heard of this Eli Ehrlich guy?
Maybe.
He's a transgender man. I don't know what he is. I'll make sure to say the wrong gender on purpose.
Is he the pregnant mom or whatever? The pregnant dad?
No, he's worse. Let me find the tweet.
I was talking about that with my girlfriend today because we were having a discussion about like how the rule that saying that everybody loves to say, like, oh, men are making these policies about abortion and stuff like that. I'm like, well, men can get pregnant now, apparently. You know what I mean? So that argument kind of goes out the window, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to see if he has videos there. It's gone. Well, he's been so this guy. This is what he said on his.
What's his name again?
Eli Ehrlich. This is his Instagram, and he recently has called for the assassination of Supreme Court justices with no consequences.
Oh no!
Because,
yeah, of course. Well, that's why I don't get on Twitter at all.
Part of the most protected class in the history of the Western world. So here's what he tweeted. So
Imagine
my friend
if Trump did that.
Oh God. So my friends and I
raided his home in Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. This is what he said. So my friends and I had an idea, sending out our extra prescriptions around the country. If you need hormones, I'm working with a distribution network to get you access. Everything is free, no questions asked. We have hundreds of doses of testosterone, all the other shit. All are prescribed by doctors and unused. I don't know what he is now. I know he's transitioned to something. I realize this is so.
Was he born as a female or what?
I think he was born as a woman and became a man. I don't. Let me look it up before I so I can properly misgender him. Eli Ehrlich was born. Okay, so he was born as a man and became a woman. Okay. So yeah, so her parents met. So yeah, he's a he. Okay. So he posted a video on his Instagram account talking about how he orders double the dosage of his hormones so he can send it out to kids that want to transition, but their parents won't let them. Which, I mean, number one, it's illegal to send your prescription drugs to anybody, let alone minors. Your prescription drugs are for you. To mail them out across state lines, bro. How has the DEA not raided this guy's house? He admitted to a felony on the internet. This is what I do. I give drugs to minors that were prescribed to me, and I mail them across state lines. Remember how concerned they were about state lines with Kyle Rittenhouse? Well, it's a two-way fucking street, sweetheart.
Teen Vogue named Ehrlich a new face of feminism as a young feminist changing the game into 2016.
Dude, their Joan of Arc movie, it's a play about Joan of Arc, right?
Yeah.
French warlord, not warlord, but heroine.
The French knight heroine that was burned at the stake by the English.
Yep, they're making her non-binary in it. Just revisionist history. She's non-binary. Yeah. She's gender non-conforming. So here's what happened. They spent the last decade going after masculinity, toxic masculinity. See how feminized and weak men are now. They spent the last decade going after masculinity. Women, now it's your turn. We're erasing all famous female contributions from history. We're going to say they were gender non-conforming. Men can be women. They can play women's sports and destroy you guys at it. And we'll give them Woman of the Year like Caitlyn Jenner. So
it's always
women
funny.
Are next. They went after masculinity and they did a damn good job at attacking masculinity, and femininity's next. That's it.
What's funny is like revisionist history stuff. Nobody ever really goes after Genghis Khan, man.
No.
Genghis Khan has led one of the most murderous, horrible empires ever, and nobody ever talks about the Mongolian Empire being just absolutely horrible. Literally changed the course of human history.
Genghis
in the
Khan
Middle Ages.
Was a transgender BIPOC woman, non-gender conforming, with a disability. Okay, that's my new movie script that I'm working on.
He was paraplegic.
He was paraplegic
on a horse. But that's crazy, man. They're gonna make Joan of Arc non.
How ridiculous can they get with the it's like George Patton is in a
dress. The whole point of the whole reason that she was was burned for heresy was because she was a strong
woman, not non-binary. That wasn't a thing back then. It wasn't real.
Even if it was, you know what I mean? That's not it's objective that she was very I'm a woman and I'm fighting. Dude, as a knight, you know what I mean?
Do you know where the non-binary thing came from?
No, I have no idea.
It was a psychologist named John Money.
John Money.
So this is what the dude, he did studies on little boys. Here's what he said. So here's just a quote for him. If I were to see the case of a boy aged 10 or 11 who's intensely erotically attracted toward a man in his 20s or 30s, if the relationship is totally mutual and the bonding is genuinely totally mutual, then I would call it or not call it pathological in any way. So basically, what if the child consents? That's the guy who's behind. He's the one that came up with the non-binary thing. His name's John Money. He did horrible experiments on little boys, trying to prove that gender was non-conforming and non-binary. That's where this shit started. It didn't start hundreds of years ago, like the social justice warriors on Twitter have made up revisionist history.
I hear a lot of people try to say like a lot of that stuff like in history, like they'll talk about like the geisha people in Japan and stuff. Like
that's different
about
though.
That, but that's not. I mean, like that wasn't like Western culture.
But
you know
it wasn't. Not only was it Western culture, but they still the geisha. They might dress up as women, but they still acknowledged that they were men. It was cross-dressing, but it wasn't the same thing. They acknowledged that at the end of the day, they were a man. That's what made it unique, was the men would dress as women. You know what I mean? And the two-spirit thing that Native Americans are not, that means Native Americans lived without a gender binary. Complete horseshit. Native Americans had more gender roles than probably any other culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with the men were warriors and the women stayed back with the tribe.
If you had like a guy that was like a useless little gay boy, you know what I mean?
They'd leave him behind. The dude would starve.
They would kick him out of the fucking tribe because
he was a weak link.
Useless. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
The men went and hunted and fought, and the women stayed back. They were the definition of a gender binary in Native American tribes. And I don't understand why they feel the need to add so many of these things to it. It's all just asinine. Like, they leave people alone. They don't want to be added to your crap. Why does the two-spirit thing need to be there? It's completely made up.
It circulates in official UTEP fucking emails, so it's not this is a bunch of bullshit I just made up. It's something that I get official newsletters from my school every month.
The definition is two-spirit is a modern pan-Indian umbrella term.
LGBTQ. Let me look up.
Used by some indigenous North Americans to describe Native people and their communities who fulfill a traditional third gender or gender variant ceremonial and social role in their cultures. Some means like 7 people in a Facebook group, and now it's got its own member, that the Alphabet Party, the Alphabet Soup.
I wish I had one of the. Usually, I just like delete those emails right away because they're like a bunch of horse shit. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
I need to know what the rest of it. LGBT.
Yeah, it was okay. So it's LGBTQIA2S plus. Like that. Tell me that doesn't sound like a shit post.
It really does.
It's an official email from 1/27/2022 from UTEP. The following is a special announcement approved by the Vice President for Student Affairs. Subject: Queer 101 LGBTQ IA2S plus workshop. This is something that was sent to every single student in the entire YouTube population. And I'm like, I looked at this and was like, is this a shit post? This looks like
someone hacked the university email.
It literally looks like they're making fun of like the LGBTQ. Like it literally looks like they're making fun of the LGBT community.
Bro, I still call it LGB. That's I remember. I'm old enough to remember when it was just LGB, and that got hijacked, man. And you know what?
That's why they link transsexuals to LGBT.
Dude, fat people have jumped onto the disability thing the same way transgenders jumped onto the LGBs.
They're trying to do it with pedophiles, man. They're really trying to do it with pedophiles. They're really trying to. There are people there are pedophiles that are trying to do that.
Yeah, before anyone takes me out of context, not comparing transgenders to pedophiles, not even close. I'm not suggesting those two have anything to do with each other. What I am saying is pedophiles are copying the blueprint that transgenders use to attach themselves.
There was a very large Reddit subcommunity called LGB minus the T.
Yeah.
It got kicked off the website.
Of course it did. Of course, I know some that would fall into that group. You know what I mean? Like there's plenty of them that don't want to go along with this shit, dude. It's but yeah, so I mean, it's the
If you don't
pedophile
vote for
thing.
Biden, you're not gay.
Then you ain't gay.
You ain't gay.
Dude, it's the pedophile thing is wild to me because I'm gonna tell you, man, if pedophilia were ever, and I don't think it ever will be in my lifetime. I don't think it will be.
I don't
But
think so either, man.
adult,
I just like the fact that there's efforts to lump them in with them doesn't mean that it's
disturbing.
effective. It's just an effort.
And that's my thing, man, because like if that ever became legal and there's nothing I can do about a 40-year-old man dating my 13-year-old daughter, that guy's got to die. That's all there is to it. He goes to a ditch or a hog farm. I know somebody with one, a couple people with one. That's where he goes. That's all there is to it. The discussion's done. There's no legal action I can take. I can't call the police. He's got to go. He's got to get tied up and get a bullet in the back of his head. That's all there is to it. And that's, you know what? Open the floodgates because that's what's going to happen, and we'll really be able to weed a lot of them out that way. Be a lot of dead pedophiles, and the cops ain't going to care too much. They're going to quit looking into it. So that's all I got to say.
It'll be a real weird change in society if people are like less like, you know what I mean? Like less friendly to pedophiles.
I have a shirt that says "Kill all pedophiles." That I wear.
I wish I had one that said that for furries, dude.
Kill all
fucking
furries.
Can't stand furries.
I like
fuck dogs.
I like to wear that shirt to like woke comedy clubs and just dare them to ban me for it. Like, really? That's the hill you want to die on? That's who you want to stand up for? Like, all right, let's do it.
They'd be like, my uncle was a pedophile.
It's like, I am age non-conforming.
Yeah, right.
So, all right, we just did an hour and we didn't tell any ghost stories, even though it's Bread and Circuses After Dark. But do you have any ghost stories? Should we tell any ghost stories? I'm trying to think if I know any.
I don't know any actually off the top of my head right now. I guess kind of one.
Yeah, let's hear it.
There's a high school here in El Paso. It's a EP High School, El Paso High.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a super old building, man. Let me look up how old this building is, because it's like one of those like buildings where it looks like it was a high school like in the early 1900s, like where it's like that old architecture style. Like it was built in 1916. So yeah, I got it right on the dot.
Nice.
Supposedly there was a girl, I think, that was like hung herself in the school.
Yeah. Oh, there's always one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of people that say that you see like that ghost of that girl in the windows in the school. And there's been a lot of people that have like gone to that school like at nighttime and stuff.
Yeah.
And have like had really weird experiences, like felt like somebody tapping on their shoulder.
You should go live there. We'll do a Bread and Circuses special.
I don't like messing with ghost shit because it's like I don't want to be like that white person that all the black people are like, why the fuck you go in there, man? I told you not to go in there. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, why'd I go in there? I'm a fucking idiot. Like,
man, I don't fuck with shit that I can't control like that. It's just kind of goofy. You know, it's like I got a human trying to come after me. I can deal with that how I need to deal with it. But a ghost, it's just like, there's not really a for sure way to get rid of these things. So I got one comedian friend of mine. I won't drop his name. I don't know if he wants me to. Just leave it out. He's done this show before. He was telling me his boss's wife, and she's a black lady. She went to the Villisca Axe murder house or whatever in Iowa.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
So she went there where the guy like murdered his whole family.
Crazy, like it's like almost like a farmhouse. It's like an Airbnb that you can pay to go into.
Yeah, she stayed the night there. And she went there and she's like one of those people that's like, they're not like psychic, but they can just kind of feel some shit. You know what I mean? Like there's people like that are more, I think every human has a sixth sense like that. And a lot of us have lost touch with it the more society's become modernized, but some people still have it, I think. And some have learned to like hone it in more than others. So she just felt something there. And she's like, hey, I can help you. Like, I know you're miserable. Let me try to get you out of here. So she did that, and for the next month she just felt like shit, just run down, physically ill. Went to the doctor, they couldn't find anything wrong with her, just physically ill, right? So her sister-in-law, who's Native American, full-blooded, said, hey, I'm going to the powwow at the reservation this weekend. Do you want to come with me? So they went to the powwow. They walked up to this medicine man that they had never met before, right? And this medicine man looks at my friend's boss's wife and goes, why are there 2 white kids following you around? And he did like some kind of blessing or chant or something like that. And she said like the next morning she felt better when she woke up. Like it was all gone. So the shit attached itself. Dude, shit attaches itself to you.
I have a kind of a weird story that's like that too. Now,
Yeah.
I didn't experience the second. It's kind of like this. It's like a secondhand account, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so my somebody I knew, right, had a older like great aunt who's had a husband. Like this was like, you know, maybe like 70 years ago, right? Was a super abusive dude, like would beat her all the time and stuff like that. And he was really into occult stuff, like really into it, like Satanist, wholehearted, had like tons of like Ouija boards and all that like negative energy, spiritual shit. You know what I mean? And like, I don't remember why exactly he left, but he basically like just left. You know what I mean? He did the whole I'm going to the gas station and never came back deal.
Pack of cigarettes, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And to get back at him, that fucking like what in her words, that evil man.
Yeah.
She took all of his Satanist crap, threw it out into the backyard in a hole, and set it all on fire. Burned
Not
it.
good.
Yeah. And I've heard tons of people say about that woman's house that it just like felt off, you know what I mean? Like it felt really off. Yeah. And somebody told me that they saw this firsthand of like a fan being plugged in and running, like this one right here, and unplugging it, and it was still running. So like, yeah.
Damn.
I know. That's the creepiest thing I think I've had of like firsthand. Like,
have you ever heard of that Portal to Hell house that was in Indiana?
No. Oh, I have another good story. That this one actually. We should have just started with this, man.
We should have just done that.
My memory's all jogging. This is another personal one for mine. This was actually my ex's mother-in-law who told me this story. She went to go buy a house in Anthony, and
Anthony, is that in Texas?
Yeah, Anthony, New Mexico. It's like a border. It's like kind of a smaller version of like Kansas City, where half of it's in Texas, half of it's in New Mexico.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So she went to go buy a trailer home in Anthony, right? And she was trying to buy it. They were just trying to get like a place to live when like they first came here from Mexico. And the owners were like really on the fence about selling it. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? How they like came to like talk to this person about buying it, I don't know. Maybe it was like a neighbor's friend or something that like it was just abandoned, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, we don't know if we want to sell it. You know, well, what had happened was the owners of it got it through the will because their dad died in the house from a fire.
Ooh.
So, right?
Gotta be careful there. Anytime someone died in the house.
Here's the thing, right? Apparently this guy was really friendly, and he was like, the story goes is she says that she went to sleep one night when they were like in the process of trying to negotiate buying this, and had a dream where she talked to like the old man that supposedly owned the house before.
That died in the fire?
Yeah, and talked to him and like, you know, like talking like, oh, hey, like I want to buy your house. And like, you know what I mean? And like the guy was like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, you know, like agreed to it in the dream. And then the next day, the owners of the house call and be like, okay, we'll sell the house to you.
Damn.
So like, and then not only that, they lived in that house for like 5 years. And like everybody that was in that house had like firsthand accounts of like, yeah, like doors would open and close all the time. Like you would hear footsteps. And like it's a trailer home, so like, you know, you can hear like clonk, clonk, like the hollow floor sound of like footsteps in there.
Yeah.
And like they said, it was just a thing that happened there, and like nothing bad happened with it.
That would still scare me, man.
Know,
like
man.
Even if it was like a harmless ghost, it would scare. We're pretty sure our old apartment had a ghost. We called him Lester. He was very friendly. He would play like was kind of a dick, but it wasn't like a terrorize you dick. He never made noise or anything like that. It was like he would just like move shit just to inconvenience you. You know what I mean? Like you'd set like just like little like I don't even know how to like you'd set like your fork down on the counter. You know what I mean? You go to the counter and it would be gone, and you're like, where the fuck did my fork go, Lester? And you'd walk over and it's somewhere you wouldn't put it. It's like on the bar. You know what I mean? It's like on the like. You'd walk out, like I'd leave something sitting there and I check 100 times going back and forth. Am I losing my mind? And it's on the floor in the corner of the room where I never was. And I'm like, Lester, you fucking asshole. Like, you know what, man? If that's the kind of ghost you got to have, that's the kind of ghost. Yeah, that's the one to do it.
It's better than the haunted doll or something like that. Yeah.
And he never made noise. He was very peaceful. It was just, hey, I'm going to fuck with you sometimes. Like you wouldn't even hear him walking. There wouldn't be any taps on your shoulder. It was very peaceful. So that's the kind of ghost you want if you gotta have one.
If you're gonna have one. I kind of think that like hell, personally, I think hell is like your spirit being trapped here. Like
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree. No,
yeah, I think that's really what hell is. Like,
yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. I think hell is your spirit being trapped here and forced to repeat the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean? I think purgatory might be like you're able to roam the earth, but you can't leave. And then heaven would be you transcend to the next dimension and maybe move on. I don't know.
Who knows?
It's all too much for human comprehension. I definitely think we go somewhere when we kick the bucket. I don't think this is it. You know what I mean? Like I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's like science that's proven that people have like auras and stuff. So
yeah, no, for sure. I think that'd be a pretty big fucking waste of time if this was it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I mean, there's just too many experiences to say that there's nothing. I don't know. There's just not everyone can be lying at the same time. You know what I mean? It's just like I just don't know. Religion's one of the things that's weird to me because throughout the world, I mean, way before there was like telephones and internet and TV and radio and all that shit, people still across the world. You had Christians in Europe. You had Muslims in Arabia. You had Native Americans over in North America. You had Jews. I mean, in like the Israeli area, they all came up with religions that basically said the same thing. They called the guy different names, but everything basically said the same.
Different. Well, kind of, but like I mean, you look at like ancient Greek religion or something like that. That's like way different than.
But there's always been like everyone's just always kind of religion. Terms. Yeah, that's what's weird. Is there's always been weird. Something. So it's weird, and that goes back to the people that talk about aliens and all that stuff. But there's just always been something. Like everyone's always just kind of in a general consensus. Yeah, we go somewhere when we kick the bucket. They don't know where, but they're all pretty sure we go somewhere.
It's a great question, man.
Hey, man, why are we here?
Even the like the Hindu or the Buddhist religion, which wasn't more of like less like a deistic type religion and more of like a philosophical type religion.
Yeah.
Even like was like, hey, when you die, like you'll reincarnate, kind of like the Hindu thing. You know what I mean? So
I don't really like that. I don't want to. I kind of want to hang out. But that's all. I don't know.
Well, it's a law of science that you can't destroy energy.
You cannot destroy energy. It's only transferred. That doesn't mean it's transferred to another body. It could just be transferred out into wherever, I've
always said this is what I want to happen when I die. I'm going to be buried and have a peach tree planted on top of me. And then pregnant women must eat from my peach tree fruits that grow from top of me.
Hey, that's one way to do it, man.
That's some ancient like Egyptian like ceremony type shit.
No, is it really? Oh.
No, that sounds like it would be though.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
They did that with the pharaoh or something.
That's funny as fuck. Well, we'll tell more ghost stories next time. I got a couple more I can roll with, but we'll leave it at that for this week. It's been. I officially have joined the Outlaw Streamers team. I was just on the Chris Baker show last night or this morning. This afternoon. Go? Really good. You guys can check it out on Outlaw Streamers on Facebook and Rumble.
Nice.
Was on there. I pimped our show here, and it's all good. It was fun. So hopefully we'll get moving on that a little bit further, and then could have some more exciting announcements coming up. So that's all I got. Anything you want to plug?
Oh man, we are good here. We're starting school up in
Not me.
1 week now, or 2 weeks now. So.
The 25th of August, Brick Street Tavern. I'll be headlining there. The 26th, it's a Friday. We got the roast battles. The 13th, today, when we're releasing this, I've got a headliner spot that night. So at Beach House. So it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit. So
I hope those roast battles go good too, man. Those are.
Oh, they're gonna be nasty. We'll record them all and we'll post them to YouTube. So. Oh, yeah. Can't wait for that.
Nope.
All right. It's been Bread and Circuses. Thank you guys so fucking much. Have a good night.
Good night, y'all. Deuces.